Sa katatapos lamang na 12th East Asia Summit, lumagda ang Pilipinas at ang Russia ng kasunduan para linangin ang nuclear energy sa ating bansa. Sa ilalim nito, magsasagawa ang dalawang bansa ng mga pag-aaral sa nuclear power capability ng ating bansa. Kabilang na ang assessment sa nakategang Bataan Nuclear Power Plant. Kaugnay po nito, makakausap natin si Dr. Carlo Arcilla, Director ng Philippine Nuclear Research Institute. Magandang umaga po sa inyo. Kaloy, kumusta na? Lagi ka dito sa News to Go. Ngayon pala nasa nuclear energy ka na. Handa ba talagang Pilipinas for nuclear energy? Alam natin itong BNPP, 1976 pa ito, natenga for so long a time. Handa na ba ang Pilipinas after so many decades?
Okay, ganito first, kung bakit kailangan bakit nag-consider ng nuclear? Kasi meron tayong natural gas, which is good. Mauubos na siya si Malampaya within 5 years. Anong ipapalit mo sa kanyang 15%? Coal, hindi na pwede. Geothermal naman, actually we are the second best in the world sa geothermal.
I know.
So yung renewables natin, we are one of the best in the world. Kasi meron tayo ng geothermal, may hydro. But the 15% na Malampaya ngayon has to be filled with something. Saan mo kukunin siya? Ngayon, pwede tayong maghanap ulit ng Malampaya. Ang problema lang nasa West Philippine Sea yan eh. Hindi nga natin makapag-drill doon eh. So, understandable na yung government has to consider nuclear option. Number one, kasi it's still the cheapest, one of the cheapest sources of power in the world, at saka zero emissions. No?
Hindi natin pwedeng i-develop further ang ating renewable energy. I mean, yan yung trend sa ibang mga bansa.
No. Actually, it's not and.
Okay.
I call it or it's and, you know. Wala akong problema. In fact, dapat talagang i-develop natin si renewables, si wind at saka si solar.
Geothermal.
Now, ang problema lang kasi, for example, wind and saka solar, the problem with them is like yung sa solar, no? Ang kanyang availability is or 20%. Kasi if the sun doesn't shine, may cloudy, so babagsak yung kanyang output, no? Tapos yung wind, ganun din. Pero there's no problem keeping them. Ang problema, hindi sila persistent power. Tinatawag na base load power. You cannot run industries on this too. Kailangan mo pa rin may supporting power ka.
What about geothermal? Okay. Nasa Pacific Ring of Fire tayo.
Yes, may geothermal na tayo and I think it's it used to be 15-20%. Ang problema sa geothermal ngayon is that yung mga bulkan ay malalayo sa mga cities na nangangailangan ng power. So you have to develop the infrastructure to go to them.
Right.
And that would make the cost of that. Again, but there's no harm in developing this. Dapat full tilt tayo sa geothermal, ang tawag diyan, solar at saka sa wind. The question is that, can this account for that big gap of 15% or 20%? And we're growing at 6.9%.
Okay.
GDP. So that is really the future is the problem, you know. Pwedeng magkaroon ka ng smaller geothermal plants. So, it's the responsibility of the government to look at that option.
So, why is nuclear energy the solution?
Okay. One of the things with the nuclear energy being a solution is number one, it has no or very little. It has zero emissions. Although the problem is nuclear waste, which you can discuss later on. You know. Second, in the long term, it's one of the cheapest sources of power. Okay. The cheapest. Kasi but just to give you an idea, a nuclear power plant is only fueled every 18 months, 1.5 years.
Paano ba nagwo-work itong nuclear?
Ganito po
sige.
I'll just ito po, this small pellet here. Okay? That's the nuclear, this is an example of a nuclear fuel. Only 4% of that will be uranium.
Okay.
That small pellet is equal to 1 ton of coal.
Oh, really?
1 ton of coal.
Yung
Isang maliit na pellet na yan. 1 ton of coal.
Gaano karaming bahay ang malalight?
Isang bahay, isang taon.
This one
pellet, ang equivalent.
Kaya niya
isang bahay sa isang taon. So of course, ang problema dyan, yung waste mo, kung paano mo i-dispose yung waste.
Okay.
Pero kung there are technologies, and I can explain kung paano mag-dispose ng technology. In fact, isa pang, maybe isang mas magandang idea, no?
Sige.
Kung pupunuin ko yung isa nito, ng ganyan, so 1.5 liters.
Ay, pupunuin ng pellets.
Lang ng pellets.
Okay.
Equivalent na energy, ng nuclear energy, ng 1 liter or 1.5 liters na ganyan, 100 train loads of coal.
Oh, wow.
pag nagsunog ka ng coal, ano mangyayari? You produce CO2. Tapos may residues pa yan eh. So that's one of the arguments here. You have a very dangerous dangerous, but actually it can be isolated. Yan po yung aking expertise.
So parang ang gandang pakinggan, pero bakit maraming environmental groups ang tumututol dito? Sinabi nyo na kanina, isa sa mga malaking problema ng nuclear energy, waste disposal.
That's right.
Walang waste disposal facility ang BNPP.
Hindi po. Yun nga po. Kasi anyway, first, wala pa naman tayong desisyon. No?
Correct.
Kung sakali mag-desisyon si Presidente on this, ang magiging regulator po niyan, kami PNRI. No? I will strongly recommend to the President that once the nuclear power goes forward, dapat parallel yung disposition of nuclear waste plants.
Kasi you cannot have a nuclear power plant without waste disposal.
In fact, that is the problem right now. There are 450, 460 nuclear plants in the world, and there's only one site that has been authorized for construction sa Finland. Although the technology and then the science behind it is quite robust. And I've been studying this for 10 years. Okay, what's my plan? Kung ako yung sabihin ni President Digong, mag-nuclear tayo. So, ano bang plan? Saan ko ilalagay si nuclear waste? Una, ganito po yan, napakaliit lang. By the way, pagpaanda rin natin si nuclear power plant, ang fueling niyan, every 1.5 years lang. Yung waste na ma-consume doon sa 1.5 years, kakasya sa aking pick-up truck. Okay? So, saan ko pwedeng ilagay yan? We have 7,000 islands. We can choose an isolated islands o kung may mga tao doon, tapos mag-drill ka ng malalim na boreholes.
Is that safe for the people?
Hindi. Kaya nga isolated yung island. Anong tawag dyan?
Okay.
Sabihin,
meron pa bang isla na
meron.
walang tao?
Marami pa tayong... and kung hindi man, babayaran sila para... Actually, it's like this. Even the disposal plants, for example, in the US, in Europe, may mga tao talaga ang design talagang tatauhan yung sa taas. Kaya nga ang disposal niya will be at least 600 meters below. Tapos may mga may multi-engineered barriers ka. Okay?
Hindi ba yan hahalo sa dagat?
Hindi pwedeng humalo sa dagat kasi ang mangyayari, lalagyan mo siya ng bentonite.
Okay.
Just to give you an idea, just to put it in perspective, in the 1940s, the US was testing nuclear bombs. Saan? On Bikini Islands. Sa atolls, sa surface.
Alright, okay.
And that is, by the way, anong pagkakaiba ng bomb? At saka ito po, ko lang i-clarify sa mga tao kasi pag nasasabi nuclear, bomba agad nasa isip This contains 4% uranium. When you're going to make a bomb, that will be 90+%.
Okay.
Talagang dinadilute yan.
Alright.
So, you put it in deep boreholes, tapos nandun na siya, tapos safe na yan.
So hahanap ng isang isla na isolated, magdidrill ng sobrang malalim.
Tapos, bago mo ilalagay, babalutin siya ng bentonite clay. Kasi kung saan makalabas,
ilalagay ang nuclear waste.
So may plano na ako.
Okay.
So kung may mag-a-attack man ng nuclear waste, try to falsify or defeat that plan.
Alright. Ang isa pang question dito, safety. Una-una, ang tutulong sa atin dito ay Russia. Ano ba ang track record ng Russia pagdating sa nuclear energy? Ang alam ko lang pag Russia, yung dati pang Soviet Union, yung Chernobyl.
Okay. Totoo nga yan.
Nagkaroon ng aksidente sa isang nuclear plant.
Okay, yun nga po. Several things, Several things on Chernobyl. Kasi yan po ang decision ni dating Korea John Aquino kung bakit niya, isa sa mga reasons bakit sinara. Kasi in 86, after she took over, nagkaroon ng Chernobyl accident. But one important thing, iba si Soviet Union sa Russia, okay? Soviet Union then, ito po yung isang picture na yan. Ang Western design, which is the design that we have, merong tinatawag na containment structure.
Okay.
The containment structure on the BNPP is 1.5 meters of very, very tough concrete plus half a foot of steel. What is that design? Kung magkaroon ng aksidente sa loob, doon lang siya sa loob. Yung sa old Soviet Union, walang ganyan. Kasi
mas matibay yung BNPP natin.
Definitely. By far, tapos, ang sinasabi ko nga yan, communism yun eh. Pag nagkaroon ng accident, let everybody share in the accident.
Okay, speaking of accident, nagkaroon ng aksidente sa Japan, Fukushima.
Okay.
Nakakatakot yung nangyari doon.
Let's talk about Fukushima, even better. Okay?
We're on the same boat as Japan. Earthquake prone din tayo.
Yes, let me explain Fukushima, okay? Japan has 55 nuclear power plants. Tapos, Fukushima happens to be their oldest nuclear power plant. Sabi nga ng kaibigan ko mga Hapon, sa kamalas-malasan, ang tatamaan pa yung pinakamatanda na planta.
Yeah, but
By the way,
the BNPP is also old.
No. The BNPP is younger than 60% of the operating nuclear plants in the world. Kasi they have been...
Even if it was 1970s,
yes,
built in
1970s.
1976.
Most of the nuclear plants now are being extended past the life. Kasi safe nga siya. Now, let's talk about Fukushima. So, nangyari yan na...
But Fukushima's 1971.
71. Si BNPP, 1986. So, ibig sabihin, 1980 siya.
1976 siya tinayo.
No, 96, hindi. Doon sinimulan yung construction. Natapos siya ng 83. So, it's more than 10 years younger than Fukushima.
Okay.
First, what are the differences between Fukushima and BNPP? Number one, first, nandito si Fukushima, here you have a magnitude 9 earthquake, which has never happened in the Philippines.
Okay.
Magnitude 9 earthquake. What happened to the plant? The plant was not destroyed by the earthquake. And to me, that's already... a plant older than the BNPP survived a magnitude 9 earthquake. Ngayon, but what happens when you have an earthquake? You lower the, tawag niyan, you stop the nuclear fission. Hihintuin mo kasi, pero mainit pa yung, tawag niyan, yung reactor. So, dapat padaanan mo siya ng tubig, parang radiator sa kotse, to take the heat out. Now, dahil wala ka ng electric power, ang papatakbo doon, diesel engines. Eh, doon sa Fukushima, nilagay nila yung diesel engines nasa basement.
Okay.
So, nung pumasok po yung, yung tsunami, nabaha ngayon yung basement. So, wala ngayon anong tawag dyan, walang pangpalamig ng
At hindi ito
reactor.
pwedeng mangyari sa Pilipinas?
Bakit po?
If, for example, the big one happens?
Yes, alam mo kung bakit. Una, the elevation of the BNPP is much higher than the highest tsunami level.
Okay.
18 meters. So there are two things. Number one, the magnitude 9 that happened in Japan is unlikely to happen in the Philippines kasi the trend is wrong. Second, the elevation of BNPP is higher than the highest tsunami level. Okay. Tapos third, after that accident, the 400 nuclear power plants in the world, tinasa nila lahat ng kanilang mga diesel engines na para huwag mabaha ng ano. So they learned from the Fukushima. Tapos they also, by the way, ang nagpa-explode sa Fukushima was a nuclear explosion. Ang nangyari po kasi, dahil mainit yung reactor mo, natunaw, tapos nag-generate ka ng hydrogen kasi nakababad yung fuel. It was a hydrogen explosion. It was not a nuclear explosion. So the problem in any nuclear power plant is you cannot allow a cooling accident to happen.
Okay, all right.
So that's very well known, no? And
you think the BNPP is well equipped at kayang-kaya nitong ma-withstand ang anumang malaking earthquake na katulad ng nangyari sa Japan?
Let me explain why. The BNPP has sister plants. They're actually I know at least 3 plants, no? Na exact same design ng BNPP. One is in Korea, Korea 2. Another one is in Brazil, and the third one is in Slovenia, in Crisco. I visited the Crisco plant a month and a half ago. And when I saw it, medyo halos napaluha ako dahil sabi ko, this is an exact copy of the BNPP, operating for 40 years, profitably and safely.
Okay.
And then, so what is the lesson there? Is that, number one, they incorporated all of the safety features after Fukushima, after 3 Mile Island. So meron tayong model, meron tayong training site. Kasi, ang tanong nga wala na yung design na yan. So saan ka kukuha ng parts? Saan ka kukuha na magte-train? There are at least 3 plants where we can go.
All right.
And then those guys in Crisco are actually helping evaluate our plant here. Sinama sila ng mga Russians. Russia now, by the way, is the biggest purveyor of nuclear energy in the world. Kasi yung US, they have stopped construction. Ang isang malaking mga purveyor din is France. No? So, iba na si Russia ngayon kaysa sa Soviet Union dati. Of course, but the role of PNRI, if this will happen, is really the regulator.
Right.
I have to make sure that thing is safe. And I will not sign on anything that's safe. I mean, ang punto ko dyan, I should be able to sleep inside the nuclear power plant several days in a month. At saka gagawin ko po yan. Kasi kung di ako pwedeng matulog dyan, why will I impose that on the country? It's on my conscience.
All right. And with that, maraming salamat po sa inyo, Dr. Carlo Arcilla, Director ng Philippine Nuclear Research Institute. Thank you.
Thank you.